See, who is this person? This is Robin, Robin, Ron. Is that a combination? I don't know about Ron on this one. While we're getting rid of junk fees, we can also ban junk research. Kudos to Empower for touching a nerve with the study, which earned coverage in major news outlets like CBS, Fortune, and Yes, meaning Yes being a major news outlet, and then Forbes. The research, however, has some flaws which impugn its legitimacy. Happiness is neither a binary nor measurable concept. Again, like I said, subjective. Asking someone what would make them happy implies that there is a level that can be attained or a bar to be cleared. There is a bar at some point. I believe they already did a psychological study on this as far as I believe now, adjusted for inflation, that number is going to be a little around $100,000. Might be a little more now because that was 2023 numbers, but it was around 70K or so. I think the study was done like 2010, 2011, something like that. But in short, once you make over a certain amount of money, you don't really truly feel any happiness as far as the money itself. Other things need to come into play outside of just making more money. So you do need to make a certain amount of money to be happy. Also, let's be very clear. Well, I mean, I said I'm gonna keep saying instead of not saying what I want to say. So I want to be, not PC, but just watch what I say per on the internet. I mean, how many people who have no money are happy? Like, what's that study? And let's take it, are people in poverty happy? Are we going to sit here and let us believe that people who do not make enough money to afford the necessities for whatever reason, are we going to say they're happy? People in an impoverished community, Section 8, those people are happy, right? So if poor people for sure aren't happy, then you definitely you definitely would rather have money and not be happy than not have money and not be happy, right? Shout out to more money, less problems, or more money, more problems. But the amount of people who grew up in an impoverished, struggling situation, and then they've made it, made success from a financial, are successful financially. Jesus, tongue tied. Those people will let you know one of their main reasons or the main drive is that they never want to go back to the situation they were living in growing up, or from a time experience, as an adult. They lost all their money when they were adult. So I've never heard people who had no money, who at any point in time, who then got money and still have it, saying they want to go back to having no money. All right, so let's be careful when people keep saying, hey, money doesn't buy you happiness, whatever. Okay, cool. You be over there and don't have your money. All right. Yeah, bar can be clear. That would make them change from unhappy or not happy, which are not the same things. Unhappy and not happy, to a state called happy. This isn't how happiness works, however. How does happiness work? They didn't explain how happiness works. The research doesn't break out. How you going to say this isn't how happiness works and you don't explain how happiness works? Research doesn't break out happiness by income and net worth. The study captures a percentage of respondents who are happy with various aspects of their financial life, but it doesn't report results by income and net worth. It's possible that there are a lot of Americans who make and have a lot of money, but are financially unhappy, and those that don't make or have a lot of money, but are happy. Sure, it's possible, but they didn't show up in this study. So now you have to go do your study to refute this data. All right, you can't just say you disagree with data and not provide new data. All right. It's possible for a lot of Americans who have a lot of money, and those that, right. It's also feasible that there are many people happy with what they already have, and that may still be happy with less than what they currently have. What? The State of Happiness in America Day. Dang, it's hard. I can barely read this article, y'all. My apologies. Well, it's not my fault. I mean, apologies for me being quiet. I don't want to be. They're saying 80% are happy at home, overall happiness 75%, with relationships 72%, at work 68%, then the financial aspect 63%, with financial goals, with plans to get financial goals, with financial freedom. Allies, what? I can't even read whose data that is. Okay, State of Happiness of American Empower. The questions are impossible to answer accurately. If you don't make anywhere near 500,000 today, how could you possibly know what it's like to make that kind of money? Because anyone who's ever made more money, they know what it's like to make more money. What? You're telling me you don't know what it's like to get paid more money than you previously were making on any type of basis, month to month, year to year, whatever it is, day to day? I mean, not most, but a lot of people were waitresses, servers, and they get paid every day. Man, their mood, it can almost be determined by how much they get tips. Excuse me. Anyone who's been in a relationship with people, who are waiters or waitresses, man, it's like dating them people and how they feel. Man, I make a lot of money today. Now you got to deal with issues because people didn't tip them well. Then when you want to go out and tip people well, they get upset. It's like I tip people well because I keep hearing you complain about not getting tipped well. So I'll make sure I tip well. I mean, I'm tip well regardless, but But now they got to be a critic of the server. You might be better able to meet the financial commitments you currently have, but what's not to say that you wouldn't have new commitments that will be equally hard to meet at a 500K income level. This goes back to the discipline and the $7 coffee. So lifestyle inflation. So all this is saying is, why wouldn't you have lifestyle inflation? True. Most people have lifestyle inflation, but this goes back to the whole financial movement where people are trying to help you be more financially literate, whether you agree with some people or not. The whole point is to have discipline. And so when you get to this 500K level, obviously depending on where you come from, right? As far as, you're going from 450 to 500K. But if you're the average person making that 74K or the median, whatever number it was, average or median, and then all of a sudden now you're making 500K, you need to still have the discipline to manage this money and the wisdom. To underscore the self-serving nature of this research, dang, this is a rag. They ragging on them. Empower's write-up of the results concludes with the following point. The secret to experiencing more happiness, having a plan of action. 73% believe that's a solid financial plan would bring me happiness. Yes, a solid financial plan, which means you would have a plan to handle the 500K income. Really, a financial plan in and of itself isn't likely to produce happiness if you need to make 4 times more than you already do and need 1 million more in net worth. What do you mean 1 million more in net worth? I wouldn't say you need 1 million more. You need at least 1 million. What? Realizing the plan might do that, but the plan itself won't. But as they say, whatever makes you happy. What, Ron, follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. Ron Shelvin, where are your response? You just said you didn't like it. Ron Shelvin is the Chief Research Officer at Cornerstone Advisors, where he does research on banking and fintech trends, helps share the direction of financial institutions and fintech. Okay, author of this stuff. Nah, Ron, we need more answers. We need you to, Ron, you look like I gotta go to work. Ron, you didn't really, you just said you disagree, but you didn't give, you had pushback, but you didn't tell people, where you're pushing them to instead. Shout out to Ron Shelvin, shout out to the article. Again, Americans think they need to make 284K a year to be happy. They're wrong. And so is the research. Ron didn't say what other research he had for a better situation. I guess he said people were screwed in America. You can't make this much money, and you're not gonna be able to have this level of net worth. He said a financial plan won't make you happy when it comes to your finances if you have to make more money. Well, wouldn't part of your financial plan be to increase your income? What? All right, y'all, that's it. Locked and loaded. Shout out to Ron Shelvin. End of the episode. Again, make sure y'all comment, like, share, and subscribe. Leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. Again, my information, as well as my co-host Jordan information, is in the description on YouTube. All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave a comment. We're going to be responding to the comments. Let us know what we can improve on. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about. For those who don't know, Jordan is government. I'm a government contractor. So Jordan definitely has to be careful what he says. We have to be careful of the things that we say and or cover on here, even those things that we want to talk about just due to our job titles. I'm saying that because our LinkedIn is public information. So some topics that we do want to talk about as far as everything in between, as I said, we're going to talk about more things on here. Some things we may not say or go in depth on because look, we got families to take care of over here. So it's just that simple. All right. But that's it, y'all. Remember to save more and say less. Keep making better your best. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.